Welcome to Radical Hello. Well, let's just start off by saying hello. That would help. What is up, guys? Welcome to Radical Reality TV. We are live talking about yesterday's Eviction episode and then the live feeds that unfolded afterwards. That's why we didn't go live yet last night, was because we had the live competition, and I figured, give you guys the benefit of the doubt, the advantage of watching the live feeds, watching the competition, and then also that way today we can talk about what's been going on, throughout the live feeds throughout today and also last night, because we wouldn't be going live again till Sunday, and there's a lot, to talk about in between today and Sunday. So this gives us that advantage of being able to, get a little bit more in and get a little bit more content. Also, you guys obviously were able to watch the competition last night, so that was cool. But I guess I'll just introduce all the guests. It's the regulars as usual. We got Tyler, we got Malcolm, we got Dominique, and we got Christian. And we're all here. We're all pumped, and we're all excited to get this show going. So as usual, just thank you guys for all the support. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the video. But yeah, without further ado, I think we're ready to get into it. First impressions of last night's show, guys. What do you guys think? Anybody can go.
Very entertaining. Very entertaining.
Yeah.
A lot of drama. A blind side. Definitely that little argument that Jessica and Christmas had was definitely pretty funny and interesting to watch.
Yeah, we had a lot of interesting stuff to talk about today. Man, it was one of the best first episode, well, one of the best first evictions in a long time. At least I can say that in my personal opinion. We had, for the first time in a long time, an actual blindside on eviction night, which was quite amazing. Usually, the first votes 14-0, 12-0, 13-0. So, but yeah, we'll get all into that. So let's just open it up and talk about, we're going to talk about in sequential order of what happened throughout the episode. So the first part of the episode, the first 30 minutes or so, we were shown the aftermath of the legendary, iconic veto ceremony where Cody tried to backdoor Paul, and that failed epically with the pendant of protection. And then he tried to put up Christmas and get her evicted. So we had the aftermath of that. So I guess the aftermath, was kind of interesting because we had Mark deciding that he was going, at first at least, we had Mark deciding that he was going to stay with Cody. And so we had Cody and Jessica, Cody, Jessica, and Mark kind of separated. And then we had Christmas going off on Cody. And then we had Paul not knowing who he can trust, kind of flipping on everybody and kind of reassessing his bases. And we had the group, or the quote-unquote the team, the rest of them at least, kind of just, left in shock, and, they were kind of just blown away by what had transpired. So I guess we can start with Malcolm. What did you think of the aftermath of the veto ceremony? What did you think?
Oh, man, it was crazy. I mean, it's like, when you're in Cody's position and you think you got this game plan, you think you're making this big move, you're going to get out the vet, your biggest threat, and then you can't. This has never happened before, because Cody's facial expression, I think it told everything, how he was feeling. When Paul, just looks at him, and then he stands up and pulls out the pendant of protection, and he's like, I took the temptation. You cannot nominate me. You have to pick someone else. What do you do, in that scenario when you have this plan and then you're told you can't do it? You got to think instantly just like that. What do you do? So then he decides to nominate Christmas and said she, got a raw deal. And Christmas, oh man, she went nuts. She was livid. Oh, it was so good. A lot of drama after that veto, for sure. Yeah.
So basically, Christmas went on a rampage throughout the house. Christian, let's get a new perspective from this, okay? Do you think it was good for Christmas's game to blow up Cody's game per se in the way that she did? Or do you think it would have been better for her to lay low and kind of reassess her bases with Paul? Like kind of like what Paul did. What do you think, Christian?
Personally, first, you can't put somebody up if you don't know it. If you don't have the votes for them to go, don't do that. I feel like that's just self-explanatory. Christmas got put in a really bad spot. I feel like he did put her up because he was close with Paul. Like, he could have put up Jason or Ramses, which would have been perfectly fine. Nobody really would have cared. It might have been a 12-0 vote or a 14-0 vote. I think it was great for her to call him out to make her show to the house, hey, I'm not backing down. I'm not going to be your bitch, Cody. I'm not Jessica. I'm really not going to take any shit from you whatsoever. And also, I feel like it got everybody against Cody and not against her. Like you saw on the live feeds, the aftermath during the HOH comp, everybody was like excluding Jessica. But then, like, you see all these people giving tickets to Paul and Christmas gathering up, giving them to Paul, and everybody else giving them to Paul, Josh giving them to Paul. It's like it just built up a whole, like, a different side of the split house. I thought it was smart because she blew up Cody's game, and now Cody's going home.
So we'll go to Dominic next. What do you think? Do you think the way that Christmas reacted, or at least the manner in which Christmas reacted, do you think that it was good for her to react in an explosive way, or do you think she could have cooled it down a little bit and played the more relaxed role?
I feel if she had cooled it down, she had a higher chance of going home. I feel like by blowing it up, she made the fact that her only target is Cody and Jessica very clear, and I feel like most of the house that were on her side got behind that, and it made a good way for Paul to campaign for her.
Tyler, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I ultimately agree. I think Christmas kind of exploding made it self-aware that she was ultimately going to target Cody and Jessica, which would ultimately just buy the whole house a free week if she wins power. Cody talks about he's a straightforward, trustworthy kind of person, and then he pretty much backstabs two people who were on his side of his house and were numbers of him. And ultimately, I think it just made it aware that, like, he's not to be trusted and he's making all these different side deals. And, yeah, it just made it self-aware to the other house guests, like, hey, I'm targeting Cody. I'm targeting Jessica. You have nothing to worry about. And, yeah, I think, like what Dominic said, that if she does kind of lay low, I think the house doesn't vote for her to stay.
Yeah, also, I want to add another interesting point to that, in that I think the way in which Christmas, because as soon as the live feeds came on, you didn't see this necessarily on the episode, but as soon as the live feeds came on after the veto ceremony, we saw that Paul was a little bit weary. Ooh, can I say that word? Weary of Christmas, because Cody had said, Christmas, you got screwed. I don't know what Paul's thoughts behind it was, but he was a little, reluctant to jump right on board and say, Christmas, we're in this together. So I think if Christmas would have laid low in her, in the way that she approached the scenario afterwards, it might have turned Paul off a little bit, because because really Cody says, Christmas, you got screwed. Paul thinks, okay, Christmas knows exactly what's going on, right? Well, the way that she exploded showed Paul that no, Christmas had no clue what was going on, and indeed salvaged that relationship between Paul and Christmas, which I think is crucial to both of their games, if we're being honest. So next we'll get to the conversations that Paul had with the other members of the team, quote unquote, with Mark, Elena, with Matt and Raven, all those other people who Paul believed at least one of them or some of them had an idea of what in the world was going on. Do you think that they did a good job? Okay, I'll offer my personal opinion first, because it can kind of get this conversation brewing a little bit. I believe that the way that most of them approached the conversation was great. You know what I mean? Mark, Matt, they all did a great job of making Paul believe that they had no clue about it. And particularly in Matt's case, he played it really well, which I think I'm getting high on Matt a little bit, because if he's able to approach these situations later down the road, it will really benefit his game. But basically approached Paul and said, obviously it looks like I knew or I had something to do with this. Believe me if you will, but I promise you I had nothing to do with this. And the way that he approached the situation with the knowledge of what Paul was thinking and the knowledge of what was going on was awesome. And he was actually able to convince Paul that they had nothing to do with it. So what do you guys think? Do you think that if had they approached the conversations differently and Paul wasn't able to trust that team anymore, how different would this all be? We'll start with Dominic.
I don't know. I feel like the team was built because if they had reacted differently, Paul would have just went on and assumed that they were all with Cody still, and he was just completely blindsided. But Matt took the good approach to it and made Paul feel more comfortable and made a side of the house excluding Cody and Jessica. What do you think about that, Malcolm?
Malcolm,
Hello?
did you hear him? Yeah, Dominic, Dominic, just tell Malcolm what you said one more time.
Oh, okay. Basically, like, I feel like the side of the house that now is the 7 took a good approach to Paul, keeping him balanced, and that they didn't act like they were with Cody and Jessica still, because they could easily flip that on Paul and been like, it could have been like one side with Cody and Jessica instead of Paul and Christmas, but that's what kept Jessica in. Yeah.
What do you think about that, Malcolm?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think they did the best that they could, under the circumstances at staying calm. I mean, there was a lot going on with Cody's HOH reign. So, Paul, once he found out that he was being targeted, he was livid. And I think that, Mark and Matt, Elena, I think that they did a good job at comforting him, like assuring him, this was not our idea, we're still with you, we're just as shocked as you are. I think they handled that really well. Because it was a lot going on Cody's HOH reign for sure.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, now that we get that out of the way, this is something that I really, really want to touch on, because I think the way that Paul handled this situation was magnificent. And this, is one of the – if he was able to get to the end, the way that he flipped this scenario into something completely that it wasn't supposed to be, I think Paul should use this, because it was great gameplay. Basically, he said, I'm just going to lay low and play the victim and turn this around. And the fact that today not one person in that house thinks Paul is a target the way Cody did, and everybody hates Cody, just is a testament for the way that Paul was able to flip this in a way. You know what I mean? Because if Cody plays his cards right, even though he blindsided his alliance, he can still sell the fact that Paul is a threat. He played this game before. He almost won. He should have won, and that's why I nominated him. And maybe open Paul's eye. Maybe open the other house guest's eyes on Paul. But no, Paul was able to flip it and turn it into, poor me, I was blindsided by the people that I thought I could trust, and he's a jerk off. And now everybody in the house hates Paul, or hates Cody, and loves Paul even more. Tyler, what were you going to say about it?
Oh, I was just going to say also, if Cody was trying to sell the thing like, hey, I'm targeting Paul, he also could have used the argument that Paul didn't tell him his side of the house that he had the 3 weeks immunity. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Paul definitely approached it perfectly. And yeah, I think he did a solid job. He definitely went out campaigning very hard for Christmas this day. Obviously, I mean, he just got a knife put in his back. So, I mean, that was self-explanatory why he was going to do that. And I do think he did a very good job at it. Maybe he was a little too abrasive with Jason and Alex, but I mean, for the most part, I think he did a phenomenal job campaigning, and I think he's definitely deserves some credit for that flip. I think Christmas's social game, gathering the votes was definitely important why the flip happened. But yeah, I definitely think Paul going out there campaigning definitely was, good on his part, and he kept his ally in the game basically. So.
Mhm. So, Christian, do you think that we should be complimenting Paul's gameplay or just discrediting all the other house guests for being idiots and not seeing Paul as a threat? What do you personally feel?
Well, I feel like it's a mix because I'm about to say, spoiler alert, Paul won the second HOH. Just throwing it out there. Make sure.
That was a
because that's
quick spoiler alert.
Yeah, I'm about to say it. So Paul, he did become like, what did you just say? He did become the victim. But now that he won HOH, everybody's kissing his ass, and knowing that, hey, Cody was over here and Paul's right here. How about we scoot a little bit more over to Paul's side? So Cody screwed. Paul played well, but also he is a vet. He is like trying to coach everybody. Like if you guys watch the feeds, he's been trying to just like get in everybody's head, make them do what he wants to do. And you can't always do that because people don't always think the way you think. So it's like a mix because some of the house guys are kind of stupid because they've been also talking about how they just want to make it to jury. They don't even make it to the finals. And they want Paul to win. So
yeah. I think another idea to keep in mind is the fact that Paul is safe for 3 weeks. So I'll bring this next question to Dominic. Do you think that because he's safe for 3 weeks, that these house guests are dumbing down and kind of saying, yes, Paul, in Paul we trust? Or do you think that after this 3 weeks of safety, they're still going to be, wrapped around his finger and he's going to be playing them like puppets? What do you think?
I can't really tell because we can't really see what's on with their head. I know Josh isn't the biggest fan of Paul. I feel like Josh, out of all the newbies, Josh and Cody are the most anti-Paul. But I just can't tell if they'll get rid of him like Netta. But like Netta, she had safety till jury and they got her out right away. But that was Ika, and she's a veteran. I don't think Demetrius would have done that himself if it was the case without Ika. But Paul, I feel like he does have them kind of around his finger. Maybe they're dumbing down, but it's hard to tell. What do you think about that, Malcolm?
No, I don't think that that he has them wrapped around his finger at all. He is safe for 3 weeks for now, but once that safety is out, Paul's going to have to, I think, win some competitions, vetoes, if he wants to go the distance. We got some strong players this cast. It's still early on, but there are some really sharp players, and I think if Paul wants to get far in this game, I think he's going to have to win his way to get to the end.
Yeah. So I guess we'll move on to the next part or the next little bit. What? Go ahead. I
want to go back to Dominic. Dominic, you just said that Josh doesn't trust Paul, correct?
No, Josh definitely trusts Paul.
Am I getting a backlash for this?
No, Josh trusts Paul. However, he's saying that Josh is actually woke about Paul's abilities, and if it comes down to it, Josh would be able to play his own game and get rid of Paul. Yeah, I think that's what Dominic was saying.
Yeah. I'm not starting an argument. I'm just asking. Do you think that was strategy for Josh to give him the tickets? This is for everybody. Do you think it was strategy for Josh to give Paul the tickets? Or do you think it was just Josh
I think it is because
Well, we can get to that whenever we talk about the HOH, but we got to wait a little bit till we get to the HOH because we have a lot to talk about the HOH. Yeah. So the next little bit is the Mark crying with Christmas or whatever, because we had a moment where Mark was actually siding with Cody in the fact that Christmas needed to go home. And Christmas had broken her foot, and Mark was kind of giving her this cold shoulder. I cannot speak. Giving her the cold shoulder. And on the episode, it showed Mark confiding in Christmas. But what the episode didn't show, which I think it's so important to talk about, is that we should be giving Dominique all the credit for flipping Mark on that vote and the way that he talked to Christmas, because it was all her. I mean, Dominique was the reason that Mark flipped his vote, point blank. It is. So, Mark, we'll talk about Mark for a second. Malcolm, do you think it was best for Mark to vote out Christmas like he did, or it was best for him to save Christmas like he did, or do you think it would have been better for him to vote Christmas out?
No, I think he made the right decision voting Christmas out. Cody, when you're HOH, the HOH has a common goal, but the HOH can't protect you the following week. Protect Mark this week. You have all of these people upset with Cody and Jessica. Why do what they want? Because Cody has put Mark in a terrible position, with this HOH. So when Dominic gave him that advice, I think he did the right thing by voting Christmas out. Because of the position that Cody put him in, and Cody can't protect Mark this week with the HOH. So I think.
So you mentioned that Dominique gave Mark his advice. It seems like a lot of people have come to Dominique for advice, and they're taking it. So this is a conversation that we all can talk about. Is Dominique setting herself up great long term, or do you think that the fact that she's playing, really smart and kind of like showing herself a little bit too soon could bite her, come double eviction or mid jury? Tyler, for instance, what do you think about Dominique, the way she's playing?
Well, I mean, from right now, yeah, I definitely think she's playing a good game. She kind of, like you said, she has other people really, accepting her advice and really finding her a very trustworthy person. She's obviously very intelligent. She's probably one of the smartest people in the house. She seems like she understands everything that's going on. She's very self-aware. So, yeah, I think she is in a good position. Obviously, the whole thing with Rams is saying the whole thing that she and Mark are in alliance, and, Jason with the fake Bible. I mean, that definitely is going to work against her. I don't think it's going to be too detrimental to her game. I think it's too early to say whether she's, how far she could go. I think if she continuously plays like this, continuously works over the house guests, and ensures that she has their trust 100%, I think she could definitely go very far into the game and definitely could make it all the way to the end. But, yeah, I think she's definitely in one of the best positions right now. I mean, for the most part, she's liked and liked by everybody. I mean, excluding maybe Jason, and I don't particularly know if Ramsey likes her or not. But, yeah, I definitely think she's in a very good position and set up nicely so far.
Okay, so Malcolm, I'll bring up this point. So we have Dominique, and we see that she's obviously capable of playing a great social game. My question for you is, do you believe that come time Dominique is going to be able to make these backstabbing, game-changing moves that winners ultimately have to make? What do you believe? Do you think she's capable of it?
I think she's capable of it. Now, whether or not she's going to do it, I don't know. Because if you think back to Dominique's interview with Jeff, he asked her, will you do anything to win this game? And she said, I won't say anything, so that kind of was a red flag to me. So I think she has, the potential to make the moves. I don't know if she's going to do anything and everything when it comes to backstabbing and lying to make it happen. I think she's going to try to stay as honest as she possibly, can. And I think that could, possibly be a downfall for being too honest.
Okay. So Dominic, we'll go off the script a little bit. Do you think that a player is able to win solely? I mean, we obviously see that Dominique is capable of strategic thinking, but do you think a player is able to win the game solely on strategic thinking and social gameplay, or do you think they're going to have, just in general, do you think a winner has to be able to make blind sides and blow game-changing moves? What do you think, Dominic?
I think a winner can come out of anyone that is put on the cast. I don't think they necessarily have to play a dirty or blindside-filled game, because there's been many winners in the past that have been complete floaters, right, considerably. And there's also been winners like Dr. Will that have made crazy manipulative moves to test other house guests. But I feel like Dominique could win the game with a blindsiding kind of game, eviler kind of game, or true to herself kind of game. What do you think about that, Malcolm?
Why do you keep on saying that?
I agree with Dominic. A winner can come out of anyone.
Christian, go ahead. You've been itching to talk.
Yeah, because you guys had a mistake. You said Mark voted out Christmas.
No, I didn't mean it.
Yeah. I was about to say. I was like, guys, everybody that's watching, Mark did not vote out Christmas.
Did not vote out Christmas.
Wanted you to say that because you guys kept saying that, and they're like, Cody might have screwed Mark for him voting out Christmas. I was like, no, it was Ramses
for keeping her.
Jason, Alex, and Jessica were the only people that voted out Christmas. Okay.
Yeah. So what do you think about Dominique, Christian?
Oh, I think she's playing a great game because also she's playing an under the cover game because she's not getting many DR counts. So you don't know what's going on really in her head and stuff like that. You just know hey, she's doing it. She's checking them off. She's checking it off her list. You don't got to worry about her. She's just right there. She's just going under.
Yeah, Dominique definitely one to watch out for long term, for sure. Okay, so I think we're ready to talk about this vote that transpired. So going into the vote, we believed, or at least most people believed, that it was either going to be 7-5 or 6-6, depending on the way that Josh voted.
Not me. 8-4.
So, so we ended up. We believe that the 5 votes to keep Jillian were going to be Kevin, Dominique, Kevin, Ramses, Alex, Jason, and
Jessica.
Yeah, we believe that was going to be the 5 votes. However, we were shocked. Most of us were shocked in the event that it was actually 8-4, and Kevin flipped.
Hey,
and
he did
so nowhere.
Good. I'm so proud of him.
8-4 vote. Jillian, you are evicted from the Big Brother house. So before we get to the reaction of the eviction, let's talk about Kevin and Josh, their swing votes, and we'll start with Josh because I think this is an easier decision to make. Do you think it was good for his game? Which way do you think was good for his game? Voting out Jillian like he did, or keeping Jillian? We'll start with whoever wants to go first. Dominic, you seem like you're ready to talk.
Okay, hold up. Missed the question. Say it again.
Do you think it was better for Josh to keep Jillian or evict her like he did?
Josh, I really don't know because I guess his one vote didn't matter. But if he got it, let's say he got to choose and he was the actual flip vote, I feel like he should have evicted Christmas because I feel like Jillian was on his side. Christmas was not on his side. She would have cut him off as soon as she could, at least. I feel like Jillian was at least in his kind of clique. And Christmas is way much a bigger threat, even with a crutch. She basically was just the ticket finder for Paul. And I don't know. For Josh, I feel like he should have, but he should have evicted Christmas, but his vote didn't matter at this point. Malcolm, what do you think about that?
Well, Malcolm, what do you think about that?
Josh. No, I was happy with Josh's decision to evict Jillian, but he seemed really emotional about when he made the decision. He's so
always emotional.
Emotional. So it seemed like he really struggled. It was Josh was really a swing vote because everyone was just talking crap about Josh, but then they needed his vote. So he could have really did whatever he wanted. But I don't know. I just don't really see how keeping Jillian really benefits Josh's game.
Anybody.
And I'll say this because I haven't seen much people talking about this. I think that it was important for Josh's game to keep Christmas because you see that Christmas's advice for Josh is what really has flipped Josh's position in the house. Christmas approached Josh and told him, you need to be doing this, this, and this to get better. And he started doing that, and that. And all of a sudden, he's integrated his way in just a little bit. Not much, but he has integrated his way in to somewhat of a clique. Tyler, what do you think about his decision?
I mean, yeah, I agree for the most part. I think there's both arguments to say that it would be more beneficial to keep Christmas, and then more arguments to say that it would be better for him to keep Jillian. I think it could go either way. Ultimately, I think keeping Christmas obviously gains her and Paul's trust a little bit, and like you said, it does kind of gravitate him towards that side of the house. And I think ultimately, yeah, if he's sitting on the block or anybody's sitting on the block ultimately against Jillian, they're going home. Obviously, nobody's going to send out Mark or my bad. Send out Jillian over a Mark, over a Matt, over a Paul. So ultimately, I think long term it's better for him to keep Christmas. And I think ultimately, yeah, Jillian might have been more on his side maybe than Christmas. But I don't know. I just don't think that him keeping Jillian was really going to be, and long term in the game, was going to be that beneficial for him. I think it would have ultimately worked against him, actually.
Yeah.
And and I just want to say, like, yeah, it kind of pisses off Jessica and Cody, but I don't see them being that long term in the game. I think if Cody doesn't win the veto, he's going home this weekend. Then Jessica's pretty much by herself, so I don't think it really affects his game any.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So now we can talk about Kevin.
Wait.
King Kevin.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I want to say something. One, Jillian actually bashed Josh in her exit interview with Jeff. If you guys didn't know that. If you guys didn't know that, she's like, I don't care. Like, that's the one person I really don't care.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Two, Cody attacked Josh on the live feeds after the eviction, after Josh was trying to comfort Jessica. That's two. Three, it was smart, as they said, Jillian would be the pawn for the whole entire season, so like why not get her out now?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, there's just no real. I mean, I'm not gonna, like I said, there is.
She was gonna be a Victoria.
She was.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I guess you could say there is somewhat positive, but I mean, yeah, the saving Christmas ultimately has more positive than negatives than saving Jillian for his game long term. If he wants to go ultimately very far in this game, I think saving Christmas was a better move. I mean, it gains Christmas and Paul's trust, and like Jalen said, it kind of gravitated him towards that side. Ultimately, yeah, you can be like, oh well, Jessica and Cody are all pissed off at him, but we don't even know if they're gonna really. Yeah, who cares really what they're saying? Cody isn't gonna win power this week. Jessica, I don't think we really thought Jessica was gonna win HOH. Ultimately, I think just voting with Christmas and Paul, I think that just ultimately gained their trust, and for a long-term move, I think it was ultimately better, in my opinion. But
all right, now we can go to Kevin. Okay.
Yeah. Now we can go to Kevin, who flipped his vote probably last minute, or we never really know what he was deciding on doing. So, Kevin, Dominic, so that you can turn it over to Malcolm when you're finished.
Malcolm, how do you
the Kevin flipping, good, bad, ugly, great, awesome, what? What is it?
Awesome. I like Kevin, and I like that he was able to keep his vote secret. Like, he even had me convinced that he was going to vote to evict Christmas, and then out of nowhere, I even, like, out loud, I was like, oh, when he came into the diary room and said Jillian, then he told Julie Chen to have a nice day. And
that's so sweet, man.
Yeah, he's a legend. But, what do you think about that, Jalen? Jalen, what do you think about that?
Oh, gotcha.
Actually, I had a great point, but I was saving it for later. I think the fact that Kevin, I think what he did was perfect, because he still, not only does he get the trust of Christmas and Paul, but they being Alex and Jason, don't think Kevin was the one that voted out Jillian.
They think it's Ramses.
They think it's Ramses. It's so funny.
Poor Ramses, but Kevin is just like perfectly placed in this game, but he's going to get annoyed. He's going to blow up his spot eventually, but the fact that he's like, Kevin's playing a great game so far, I could say that much. But what do you think about that, Malcolm? What do you think?
Yeah, I love Kevin, man. You have a good night tonight, Julie. I mean, this man is like, he's doing so well. Still sitting with 25 G's might add to this. So the guy's not walking home empty-handed. But yeah, no one suspects Kevin of being the one to flip that vote. I mean, he's not going to get any of the heat on that. He's doing great. I think it was great for his game to get Jillian out too. I love Kevin.
Okay, I hate to interrupt, but we actually have some breaking news developing in the Big Brother house right now. It is confirmed. It is confirmed that Christmas just told Paul that she was the one that received the temptation.
On crutches, dang.
I said it on Twitter. I said either her or Kevin was going to win.
Christmas crutches, baby. Christmas crutches. Yeah, let's go.
All right.
So, okay, I guess we'll talk about that later. It's just more to talk about
Dang.
that.
OG.
But, okay, so we got Kevin out of the way. We got Josh out of the way. Now, let's talk about the fights and the drama that erupted afterwards.
Oh, man.
First of all, we had Cody get in Mark's face. Like, I couldn't tell if Cody wasn't stepping out to Mark because he'd be an idiot to do that. I think he was just whispering and trying to see what happened. You know what I mean? However, Jessica did get in Christmas's face, which is very ill-advised. And if you ask me, even though Christmas is on a crutch, I still think she would boot Jessica halfway to Africa. But the drama that transpired, do you guys think it's good for the game? Like, okay, say you're a house guest in the house. On the outside looking in, for me, I don't even think it would, like, I like drama, but I don't even think that was good drama because it was just stupid. But do you think in the house, stuff like that to happen is good for the other players or bad for the other players? Tyler, we'll go to you.
Well, I guess it ultimately depends on the players that we're talking about. For someone like Cody, it just draws an even bigger unnecessary target that his showmance is arguing with Christmas. But I mean, for like, I guess for someone maybe like Kevin or Josh, it kind of doesn't. I mean, like in a sense, I guess it doesn't. You know, what I mean, like really do anything that bad. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it was funny to watch unfold. But I don't know. I didn't even really get what happened. I don't even know why Jessica. I don't understand what made Jessica get into Christmas's face. I wasn't sure what happened. I don't know if any of y'all know what happened.
I do. Yeah, I know.
I know what happened. No, Malcolm, I know.
It was because Christmas on live television in her speech, the house guests aren't allowed to interrupt the final speeches. Like, they're told they can't talk during the speech. And so Jessica couldn't say anything, and Christmas took that time to call her out or something. And then afterwards, Jessica went off and said, "You took the time when I couldn't say anything to call me out." And she said, "You're a coward," and stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
No, she's not a coward. It's actually the exact opposite of a coward.
Well, that was Jessica's main point.
Ultimately, everything Christmas was saying in that eviction speech was actually true. Like, she was targeting Jessica, Cody. They're not to be trusted. And basically, that's all it was. And pretty much saying, like, if you keep me and I win power, I am targeting them too. And you guys have nothing to really worry about. Like, I mean, that's ultimately what it was. I mean, it if anything, I mean, it made them last minute. The house guys were like, yeah, we're definitely keeping Christmas right here. I mean, and I think she's still more prone to win HOH than Jillian. I don't think Jillian was winning that HOH yesterday.
No.
Okay, but speaking of HOH, go ahead.
See, what was I going to say? But, like, Christmas took the Zach approach to it, and BB16, Zach called out Devin and made Devin his clear number one target. That way they kept him. But the difference is Zach took the time to do it when anyone could say whatever they want. It was basically just being in the house. Christmas did it when Jessica was told and permitted not to say anything. That's why Jessica was so mad.
Which it's all of it. I think it was an overreaction on Jessica's point, and
it was stupid.
It was dumb.
Yeah, for sure.
It was funny though.
It was funny, but it was embarrassing on Jessica's behalf because I was like waiting for Christmas to smack her upside the head with her crutch. But so we could get to the HOH comp next.
Oh,
Candy Crush. We should have all seen it coming, considering Candy Crush premieres on Sunday or whenever it premieres. We should have seen the Candy Crush comp coming. Basically, it was a reenactment of the ball comp that Paul won last season in 18 and also hosted in OTT. It was a combination of them both. So Paul had a very unfair advantage, but he's had a very unfair advantage this entire game.
Lion.
But so basically, they all stood in this area, and candy, quote-unquote candy, which was really just containers, were thrown over the ledge, and there was lollipops coming in on a conveyor belt that they had to pick up a ticket, and they could redeem the tickets for a ball and make it in this shot out of different lanes to the thing. And surprise, surprise, our new HOH, Christian already spoiled it, but our new HOH is Paul. What? Okay, let's go to Christian. First, what did you think of the comp? And second, what did you think of Paul winning the comp?
Man, you already know what I thought about Paul winning the comp. Paul is my heart, man. I swear, I love Paul. I'm about to buy one of his T-shirts. It was great because Paul got backstabbed, and he's like, "I'm coming after you," and then boop, 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 wins HOH. Gets everybody on his side in the house besides Jody, who nobody cares about. Jessica and Cody, anyway. They're irrelevant nowadays. I still don't think he should have won because he has safety, though. Like, I really like the guy, but, like, why? Why do you need safety there when you could have another one of your allies one safety? You already know you can't go on the block. But, like, why would you risk it?
More breaking news from the Big Brother house.
No, I was about to say it. No.
Christmas does not know what the curse is. However, she selected Cody, Jessica, and Ramses for.
You got to choose what?
That's lit.
Are you for real?
So Ramses is cursed for
makes
a
me
second
so
time,
mad.
and Cody and Jessica are cursed.
Watch it be a good curse.
What?
Watch it be a
I
good
hope
curse.
it's a good curse. She got to choose.
And they're like, they're all safe for the week. I'd be like, bro, what?
No.
I hope so. That frustrates me.
No. It's better not.
Okay, guys, let's go
Paul
back to the
got a
HOH
random
competition.
one.
Thank you. All right, Malcolm, what do you think about the HOH competition?
I was kind of hoping for someone else to win the HOH competition. To be honest with you, Christian,
Same.
you know, I love Paul, but I kind of wanted to see like you know, maybe an Alex, Kevin, you know, Jason, anyone, you know, else win the HOH because I didn't think that Paul really needed to. Like you said, he has safety. And now, I mean, I don't want to get off topic, but, you know, now that Paul has won the HOH, I don't know really where his logic is going with his decision. But, I wanted to see someone else win it. But it's, you know, it's cool. It wasn't Jessica.
I have telepathy, Malcolm, so I know what he's going to do.
Paul winning HOH.
Paul was...
okay, I'll just say this. In my personal opinion, Paul winning HOH. Not smart for Paul because he has safety. So what's the point of winning HOH? And Tyler, do you agree with that? Disagree? So you agree. So what can Paul do to make this successful for his long-term game?
I don't know. I mean, are you talking about just to maybe get like his target out, Cody, or are you talking about
just in general? So like, okay, say obviously not winning would have been best because he could just slide under the radar.
Yeah.
So his noms, POV, all this included. What do you think his best route is to staying under the radar while still having power? I guess is a better way to word it.
I mean, I guess to maybe not draw unnecessary like targets or maybe make anybody mad. I guess just put Jason and Cody up on the block, and you know at least you're ensuring one of them goes home. I mean, I guess you could be like, oh, Cody can win the POV, then save himself, blah blah blah. But I mean, ultimately, like think about if Cody wins POV, if he puts Jessica and Cody, Jessica goes home, then Cody is safe. He's gonna have to pretty much fight for his life and win competition after competition after competition after competition, and that's not happening. We've seen that with Frank and Big Brother 14. Eventually, you're not gonna win the competition, and then I don't know. I mean, I just think it's the way Malcolm was saying. I think what he's kind of doing is kind of got me a little. His nominations kind of got me like, okay, Paul, but
I know what he can do. What he can do.
So before we get to what Paul is actually thinking of doing, I'm gonna run this plan. The Big Brother strategist in me is off the rails right now because I have a perfect plan, and I'll let you guys hear it and see what you think of it. So now that we know Christmas has the temptation, what Paul should do is nominate Cody and Jessica. And basically nominate Cody and Jessica, and then Christmas replaces replaces Cody in the POV competition with her ring of replacement. And now we have Cody not playing in POV, so he can't take himself off the block. So Cody's pretty much guaranteed going home no matter what. Do you guys think that's a good plan? Good plan, bad plan?
Yeah, and that goes with what I'm saying. My bad. But yeah, that's what I was. I don't know. I mean, I can see where Christian's coming from. I mean, there's different approaches I guess he could definitely take to, help ensure the fact that he can get Cody. Obviously, he wants Cody out. I mean, that's
Exactly.
pretty much obvious. But yeah,
And-
I definitely agree with what you're saying, that he can
For-
have Christmas replaced, and then you're
I'm about to go
insured.
in.
For Paul to stay under the radar, he needs Cody to go home without alienating as many people as possible. If he takes this route of nominating 2 pawns, that's 2 pawns later down the road that can say, well, Paul, I want to use you as a pawn. Like, it's not smart to put 2 pawns on the blocks. Just put Cody and Jessica up. One of them goes home for sure. Goodbye. Christian, what is your argument to that? What do you think?
All right, that's not smart because somebody just posted, this is correct. You cannot take a nominee off of the block. Like, you cannot take a nominee spot and veto because that would be unfair. First,
That's
put up.
that's the point of the temptation, though.
No,
that's the
you
point
pick up.
of
You
the
pick up somebody random draw. Well, I still don't think it's right. Put up Alex and Jason. If Cody gets picked for veto, Christmas uses it. Christmas plays. If it's a competition she can't compete in, then it's one less person to compete, and that means somebody's gonna want to play, or like somebody's they're gonna use it.
Well,
I think that's
yeah.
smart.
I agree with what Christian's saying. If he puts Alex and Jason, but I seen people he was gonna put up Matt. I seen he was gonna put up Josh, and I think that would be.
He thinks
I don't think
it's
that
gonna be
would
Josh and
but I
Alex.
agree with what.
So it's not Matt and
I don't know,
Raven?
No, it's gonna be Josh and Alex because they had a talk on the feeds last night that Paul's
I didn't watch much.
I just don't think it's right to put you guys up on the block, risking one of you guys go home because you
Yeah,
guys are
yeah.
close to my allies.
Yeah, that definitely didn't make any sense.
I mean, I guess if he puts Josh up, and I guess if Josh is if he's willing to and he's actually comfortable with it, then I guess it doesn't really affect Paul. I mean, I think they all kind of know Paul's general idea. I just want to get Cody out. But I don't know. I agree though.
I just think the smartest thing to do is replace Cody in the POV comp, and boom, there you go. That then he's guaranteed going home. But it's Paul. I don't know if he has a second plan going on in his head. I don't know what's going on. I don't see the logic behind nominating 2 pawns. But hey, it's Paul.
I just think he's trying to look too hard into it, and he could, like you're saying, yeah.
Mhm.
I just think it would be unnecessary, and later on, it could definitely go to hurt his game. Be like, well, you use me as a pawn, I'm going to use you as a pawn. And,
Yeah. He's looking too hard into it.
So we had a little bit of drama after the HOH competition. Basically, Ramses runs in the house and tells Kevin, "You're a snake." He blamed the vote on Kevin, which rightfully so, it was Kevin. However, everybody else thinks that Kevin was the vote to keep Jillian. Oh gosh, Kevin, what a great spot he's in. I think we already touched on that. And also the other drama that we had was Cody and Jessica being complete whats to Josh, over Josh just saying, I made a game move, but personally, I don't want anything weird going on in the house. I don't want any aggression. I don't want any problems. I'm sorry. Let's just move forward personally without attacking each other. And sure enough, they just start attacking him personally, but that's how Josh has been treated since day one. So what can you expect? But Cody and Jessica are just digging themselves a bigger hole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
So before we close out the show and move on to Sunday's episode, what do you move on? Waiting for Sunday's episode. What do you think? I'll ask everybody. Just give me one name. Who do you think's going home this week? We'll start with Tyler.
I'm gonna go Cody. I'm just gonna go the obvious Cody.
Malcolm, what do you think?
I'll say the same, Cody.
Dominic.
Alex.
Oh, interesting. I like that pick, actually. I like that. Christian, who do you think's going home?
Cody's bitch ass.
I'm just gonna say.
Hey, Jalen, who do you think is going home?
Malcolm, who do you think's going home?
I'll say I could see a path for Alex going home this week, but I'm gonna say Cody as well. I think Cody's gonna go home this week. I think the cards are stacked way too against him for him not to go home. If he plays in POV, he's got a chance to save himself. But I think Cody's going home this week. So
Yeah.
does anybody have any closing comments that they want to make or anything else to say?
Make sure to like and subscribe. Beat you, Dominic.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you.
Thanks
Okay.
everybody. Thanks everybody for tuning into this show. It was another great show. Reality Benjamin's Big Brother podcast. I'll check my DMs. I promise I'll check my DMs. Thanks everybody for commenting. I'll be sure to read them. And if you want to talk to me or talk to anybody on the show, just follow us on Twitter, shoot us a DM, tweet at us, whatever. Thanks for that great episode. We'll be back Sunday after the show, which I think is at 8. So we'll be live at 9. Back with another show. So thank you guys. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the video. And we'll be back. Peace.
Bye, guys.